5th, 2014. I'd like, asking for a motion to actually review and approve the agenda. And I know there's some amendments to the agenda. Robert, if you want to speak on that first.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, through you to the board, if there is an objection, amendment under the Superintendent of Public Works report on number 4, which would be a sledge hauling agreement, and under the Town Administrator's report, number 7, recommendation of appointment of an open space recreation plan committee, and number 8, which is the Barnum Road liquor license request for change in hours. Thank you.
Was that, Robert, was that, it's different than the one we had previously on the packet, correct? Is this one come in?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, you
Oh,
have,
okay,
you
all right.
have the air package
Yes,
store,
yes,
and then
okay.
this is for Barnum Road liquor.
All right, no, I just want to make sure I didn't
Mhm.
follow those two up. 7 and 8. Gary and Janice, do you have anything to
No,
add?
I don't.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Seconded?
All in favor, Gary? Janice?
Aye.
Chair says aye. The agenda is approved. Just a couple of announcements. We have the 3rd annual tree lighting ceremony at the Ayer Rotary on December 7th. It's a Sunday, 2014. That will begin at 6 o'clock. We certainly could use some donations, some help. Anybody that's available to contribute would be great, because right now it's myself and a friend.
But you do a very nice job.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Also, the winter parking ban's in effect, 11:15:14 to 4:15:15. Any cars are prohibited from the road after midnight until 6 a.m. And this includes, obviously, and that's throughout all snowstorms, if I'm correct.
Mhm.
All right. And you guys have anything with that?
No.
All right. Public input. Do we have anybody here for public input? Marcy? You can come up to the table, please.
Shall I sit or?
Yes, please, please. Yep. I'm sorry, I know you, but can you state your name and address? And
I'm Marcy Logan. This is my husband, George Logan. We live at 31 Scully Road in Ayer, Massachusetts.
thank you. And your reason for coming before us this evening?
On October 25th, myself and my 3 sons, I have a 9-year-old son named Cole, a 9-year-old son named Luke, and a 5-year-old son named George. I myself took them downtown to the Halloween festivities for trick-or-treating. Shortly after arriving, we decided to wait in line for the hayride behind Carlin's in the parking lot. And I was speaking to another woman from town, with our children behind us. I turned around to look at my children, and I saw a man with my son Cole's hand in his hand, sort of like this, and was tugging on his hand and speaking to Cole. I immediately walked towards them, and as I did that, Cole pulled his hand away from him and turned and walked away. I walked right up to this unfamiliar man and asked him, "What are you doing to my son?" He said, "I want him to go across the street with me." I told him, "He's not going anywhere with you. Get out of here." I immediately saw a policeman. I went over, told him what just happened. He asked me where the man was. I pointed to where he was standing. He walked right over to him and pulled out a notebook and appeared to be questioning him. At this point, my children were with this woman that I knew on the hayride. I got on the hayride, came back. There were 3 police cruisers in the back of Carlin's parking lot. Talking to the man. Within a few minutes, Officer Wilson approached me and informed me that He knew this man's mother, that she worked at the medicine shop, and that he is severely challenged, and that he did not consider him a serious threat, and that he had returned him to his mother. Because my children were with me, I tried to keep control of my reaction to the whole situation, but I did sort of whisper to the policeman. I said, "You do realize that he tried to take my son?" And he said, "Yes, but, you know, his mom, we know her, she's a real nice lady, and we don't think that he was going to do anything with your son." So I took my children and I went trick-or-treating with them because I knew that's what they wanted to do. When we came back around, we were walking and my son Cole was beside me and looked at me and said, "Mom, why is that scary man still here?" And I turned to where he was pointing, and he was pointing at the man that had approached him. And he was sitting in front of the medicine shop in the parking lot in one chair, his mother in another chair, and in between them, a big bowl of candy with children passing through the line. And I just looked at my son and I was shocked. I think I said something like, "Oh, Mom is confused right now." And I knew at that point it was time to leave, which we did. I went home. My husband had arrived home by then. I told him what happened. He had to leave to go coach baseball down at Prony Park with my twin boys. And while he was gone, everything hit me. It made no sense to me why this man that I witnessed with my own eyes was allowed to stay downtown, and not only that, but allowed to interact with more children. I felt that it put everyone at risk, and it just didn't sit well with me at all. So when my husband came home, I told him I felt the need to go down to the police station, and that's what I did while he stayed with my boys. I went down to the police station, spoke with the first officer who wanted to hear the story. He then brought in another officer. The two of them questioned me. My main purpose for going down there was, at that point, it made no sense to me that this man was allowed to stay downtown. It made no sense to my 9-year-old son. And I wanted an explanation. I wanted to know why he was allowed to interact with more children after what he had just displayed. The second officer I spoke to, some of the things that I presented to him was, I said that my husband and I and the police go into their elementary school and teach our children about stranger danger. And what they teach them is that you need to get away from the person. And that's exactly what my son did. I'm very proud of him for that. But what the police showed him is that you did the right thing, you got away from him, but we let him stay. And we gave him access to more children. And I think that's I think that's a terrible message to send him. And that's when about an hour and a half of challenging me from the second officer began. And forgive me, I have all of these things written down. First thing, I was told also downtown that he had the mind of a 10-year-old, this man. This officer told me that this was no different than a 10-year-old boy that my son did not know asking him to go across the street with him without telling me. He also said the police didn't believe that this was an attempted abduction because my son was not dragged away. Asked me if I questioned this man about what his intentions were once he got my son to go across the street with him. Offered me different scenarios of men asking children for directions, things that made no sense. When I decided it was best for me to leave, the room that I was in. At the police station, I stood up and informed the two officers that, thank you for their time, but it was time for me to go. Both officers followed me out into the lobby of the police station. I had my hand on the door and actually pushed it open at that point. And this second officer was following me out and was still, in my opinion, keeping it going. He made a comment that since my husband was there, why didn't he do something? At that point, I was in shock. I looked at him and said, we've just been talking for almost 2 hours. My husband was not with me. And at that point, I was angry. I told this officer that if my husband saw this man try to take our son, he would be sitting in one of those jail cells right now. His response was, that would have been real smart. He told me that if it were him, he would have put his kids in the car and went home immediately. And I'm sorry, but to me that says that Cole should have left that day. My children should have left that day. Not this 40-year-old man from Pepperell that should have went home or went somewhere else. Instead, the children should have left. Obviously, when I went home that night, my husband was not happy. I convinced him to wait until the morning to go back to the police station, which is what he did. And I will let him speak to what happened when he was down there. But when he did come back home, he informed me that what he did know at this point, that this man was 40 years old. He was involved in some sort of car accident a few years ago, is what the police had told George, and suffered brain damage, and that this man's mother has him in a school to socialize him, and that this was her first experiment to socialize, to bring him out in public, was to bring him to downtown Ayer at the trick-or-treating festivities and see how he did unsupervised while she worked at the medicine shop. The police also had told George, and George then told me that they questioned this man and that he admitted to the police that he wanted to take Cole across the street to show him where to throw away his napkin, where we were standing in the Carlin's parking lot, and why Cole had a napkin was because he was eating cookies and cider. There were trash cans all around us, but he wanted to take my son through the parking lot and have him cross the street to show him where the trash was.
Wait for his mother.
All along, yes, without my knowledge, all along, I was being assured that the police were going to gather their reports, investigate, and get back to me on Monday, which would have been the 27th. In regards to what I initially went down there for, I still have not received that communication from the police. So at that point, when George told me this information and I knew that they were gathering reports, I said, I need to go down there and make a statement, since I'm the one that witnessed all of this. I went back on Sunday and got, again, another officer. This was the third officer. I didn't have to. I was there to make a statement, but he wanted to sit and talk about, again, everything that happened. These were some of the comments I got from this officer. 2 times referred to me as the mother bear. He said, you know, I get it. You're the mother bear. This same officer from Sunday asked me to please put myself in the shoes of the man's mother. Stated how this poor woman tried to socialize her son on Saturday and failed. Can I imagine how she must feel? I looked at him and asked him, can you imagine how my 9-year-old son feels? Let's put ourselves in his shoes and the shoes of the children. that came in contact with him after this incident. I did make my statement. I made a 5-page statement with every detail that I could think of at that point. Since then, like I said, they have not addressed how this was handled. In our opinion, it still to this day makes no sense to me why he was left there, and why they handled it the way they did. I think it's wrong. I feel very strongly that it's wrong. It was the wrong thing to do. And unfortunately now we have to instill in my son that the police will do the right thing, because that's not what in his opinion, he made the connection that he saw that this man who he knows tried to take him from his mother was still downtown. And I don't know, George, you'd like to?
Pretty much, you'd said most everything. The only thing was when I went down there Sunday, I was kind of upset, disappointed in the way that the reaction to the whole situation in general. Disappointed in the way my wife was treated, because she was the one that witnessed it, and they were treating her like, oh, don't worry about it. I know you're the mother. It's okay. I know you're overreacting.
Your feelings weren't validated, weren't?
They were going around the point, and instead of the point, they wanted to. On Saturday night, I felt like it was kind of playing a game with me, or trying to distract me. I don't know, but I knew that it wasn't going well, and that's why I decided to leave. They did ask me if I wanted to make a complaint against the police, and I told them, no, I don't. This is my town. I really thought that they would look at this, and if nothing, I thought if nothing else, they would come back when they said they would, which is by the 27th, and say, you know what, maybe we need to look at things and see if we handled this the right way or not. Maybe things should have been done a little bit differently. Maybe we'll retrain some of the officers on a situation like this. I still have yet to receive any acknowledgement of that, except that they didn't call me back on Monday. On Wednesday, I did speak to an officer after myself going down to the police station on Wednesday morning, who then called me back and just kept talking about how this has been submitted to the district attorney's office. And since speaking with the district attorney's office, all that they were making a decision on was whether or not this man should have been charged with child enticement, attempted abduction. And surprisingly to me, I found out that a man can walk up to a child, or woman, I suppose, and take them by the hand and say, come with me. And if he's not successful, it's no crime. It's no crime. I was asked, how do you know that once he got him across the street that he would try to hurt him? That's a question that the police presented to me, because they were very clear that they did not think anything would have happened.
How did they know they were not going to?
I
was not going to.
I don't, well, that was my question to them. How do you know that he wouldn't have done the unthinkable? I got the feeling that they know this mother pretty well that works at the medicine shop. And for some reason, I feel that their sympathy leaned more towards her and her son, and not with myself, possibly, but most importantly, Cole, and even bigger than that, the kids in this town. They gave him back to this poor decision maker that decided to conduct an experiment to socialize this man for the first time, according to her, and leave him unsupervised at a children's event. That makes absolutely no sense to me, if it's even true. And they gave this man back to this woman that made that poor decision. And who's to say that she wouldn't have gone inside the medicine shop to use the bathroom, walked away to speak to a friend? We don't know. And there he would be with all of these children. The police did tell me that, well, she was working. And I looked at them and said, so her staying and passing out that bowl of candy was more important than getting him away from the rest of the children that were downtown? I feel like they took a really big chance, because who knows what he would have done after that. Who knows if, like I said, if she walked away, we might not be sitting here talking about this right now. We might be talking about something much bigger, because what was across the street pretty much from where we were is the woods, the rail trail. And I'm sorry, but it's hard for me not to go there, to think, why would he want to take my son so far away from me? And that is the area that was across the street. And I think that's...
Go ahead, Janice.
The first thing I want to know is, how is your son right now?
He's okay. This scared him. We've talked to him about it, try not to talk about it too much, try not to talk about it too little. I think we're just going to have to keep an eye, on him. And he's one out of my 3 boys. He's a little quiet, he's quieter. So I think we're just going to have to look for what's going to, in the future, if we see any signs of his behavior changing or anything like that. But we let him know that he did the right thing, that we're proud of him. And then unfortunately, we had to acknowledge that we think it was wrong that the police let him stay downtown, and that Mommy and Daddy are talking to the police about that. But we did want to let him know that we thought it was wrong, because we knew that he thought it was wrong.
Well, I think that your son handled it very well,
Yes, I do too.
and I think that's wonderful, and I think that's a strong testament to the both of you also.
Thank you.
So I just want to say that. And I don't know what else to say, except that right at the moment.
I was wondering, Chief, has anything been done with this since then?
I am investigating it. I've spoken with Mr. Logan. Foreman would have an answer for him by Friday or Monday at the latest, but I am still working on it.
And is there any reason they said they were going to get back to them on Monday and they never did?
I don't have an answer to that yet.
Okay. And if what she says is true, they really shouldn't be trivialized.
You got it.
Yep, you had it.
Someone else's, you can't really say, well, you can't have feelings like that. And that's kind of like what they said. It seems like.
I agree.
No.
And as someone who has small children the same age as the Logans, I just can't even imagine.
Well, my
what it would be
grandchildren
like.
were down there at the
I
same
have
time.
I had my niece down there.
Turned
Yeah.
around and saw someone with my child's hand.
Yeah.
We apologize to you. And just for public record, I am friends with the Logans. I heard about this Saturday that it happened. I purposely did not interact in any way. I did speak to Robert, I believe, on Tuesday, briefly, and he informed me that Lieutenant Gill had come in, and it was going to the district attorney, which made me happy. So I let it go, thinking things were moving correctly. And Saturday morning soccer, I had mentioned to Marcy, I said, at least things are going, and she kind of reiterated what you just heard. And I asked her to put it in an email to me, which I forwarded to everybody, Robert, through, to everybody on the board, so they had an idea what was going on.
Mhm.
And also to Chief Murray, too, because I wasn't sure, because I knew he was traveling a little bit last week. So that's kind of how we are here, so.
And the chief's going to get back to
So,
Logan's.
Yes.
I spoke with the chief yesterday. And, I mean, it's taken a while to get to this point, and I didn't want to have to get to this point. But the three things I told them that were important to me was to make sure this didn't happen again. One of the things they said they did was call the Pepperell Police to find out if there was anything on this guy. Well, I would think there should be some type of notation in case anyone does call the Pepperell Police again. I don't know if they can do it or if I have to go down to the police and do it myself.
Yeah.
But I don't think this guy should be allowed back down there, and I think people should know that, you know, this can happen, to be aware. Those are the three things that were important to me because, you know, you can't do anything about what happened in the past, except make sure next time if it does happen to react a little bit better. But I don't want this guy showing up and reading about him a year from now.
Well, as parents, we all want to make sure that,
Yeah, I mean,
you know.
and that's kind of, I look at, not just at what happened in the past, but what's happening in the future about this. So, and that's pretty important to me.
Chance?
And first of all, I'm not a mother, okay? I do have nieces. But the whole mother bear comment, I think most mothers are a mother bear, but I think there's a time and place to use the comment, and it does sound like it was used inappropriately. And I think a lot of women can turn into a mother bear even without one. But I do think it was trivialized a bit by saying that to you. And as far as it's not a crime if you are successfully able to get away, you know, a child or a woman. As far as I'm concerned, it is. You try to take me or one of my loved ones or whatnot. As far as I'm concerned, you tried. That's a crime. So I hear you. I hear what you're saying as far as that goes. You know. So yeah, the law may disagree with us, but I'm on the same wavelength with you on that one. I think, and I hope, because I think we've all had something in our childhood that has always, you know, affected us, and I kind of can relate a little bit to your son. Just let your son know, look in the mirror and say, I can do this. You know, and hopefully he'll be okay and he won't think about it ever again.
I hope so as well.
So thank you for bringing this to us.
And just to, as knowing the family, they're great people. They're not.
I have no reason not to believe that.
No, but
Yeah.
they're not public people. I mean, this has taken a lot for them to come here tonight. This was their decision.
Oh, I can tell.
I just kind of wanted to put that. I really believe they're looking out for what happened. Obviously, what happened, but they're also looking out for what could have happened, what could happen. So I just wanted to add that this is.
You know, unfortunately in life, everything we do, there's always that. Well, what if this had happened? And that's exactly what you did. You did what anyone would do. Well, what if this? What if that? And I can certainly understand why you would do that. And I don't. I'm right with you because I would have done the same thing. So, and I know this was very hard for you to come in front of us. I can see it in your face. But it is appreciated that you did bring this to our attention, so that at least people are aware and it gets looked into. And that hopefully that at least when you walk out of here tonight, you know that people do care and we are listening. Okay? And
I haven't felt like that for the past 2 weeks, and that's why I didn't want it to come to this point, but I feel like the only way that you can make positive change is to acknowledge that this wasn't handled, in our opinion, the right way. So if this happens again, I think that everyone involved needs to ask themselves, you know, this doesn't make sense. You know, I assumed automatically when I saw the immediate response from the police that I just thought they'll get him out of here, you know, and that's not what happened.
so you were left to feel insecure.
Yeah. And I didn't make a big stink about it downtown because I had my 3 sons with me, and I knew however I reacted, they were going to feed off of how I was acting. And I was surrounded by my peers. It was very busy down there, that day. I can't help but look back now and think, you know what, if I really acted like a mama bear and started screaming and yelling and protesting that this man was still down there, would it have made a difference? I don't know. But I don't know that. And I wouldn't change the way I handled it because my children, instinctually, it just kicked in that I needed to not make this bigger than it was and scare my children, because Cole's brothers saw this happen and they're still talking about it. So it's something that's affected our lives, and I just feel like it doesn't need to be brushed under the rug like I feel it has been for the past, I think, 10 or more days. I do want to speak to one thing that what I was hearing a lot when I was speaking to the police was they kept telling me that they couldn't remove him, that he had rights, they had to protect his rights. And since then, George's sister is a district attorney and her husband is a police officer. And so obviously we've talked to them about this whole situation, and we have found out that there are things that could have been done. I don't know if you want to speak about...
Well, he had said that he would have instantly removed him and taken him, Section 12 them, taken him to a hospital to be evaluated to see if there's a reason why, because if he's got some sort of brain damage, maybe, I don't know. So he said, but that way there would be liability on him or on the town that he works for. I said, really? Is there anything else you do? He's like, well, you could put a no trespass on him and have him removed then, take him downtown. There's a number of things you could have done, so.
Or he said simply say to the mother, you know what, it might be a good idea considering what just happened if you get him out of here. This event was for the children of Ayer, not for these, I'm sorry, but they're residents of Pepperell. He's 40 years old. You choose this, let's conduct an experiment in downtown Ayer at the trick-or-treating event, unsupervised. Makes absolutely no sense to me, but they could have looked at the mother and said, you know what, it might be a good idea if you take him home, get him out of here. And my sister-in-law and brother-in-law both said that usually most people, when the police ask them to do something like that, they will abide and do that. And if they don't want to, then you can say to them, okay, well then let's go downtown and we'll down to the police station and we'll talk about it there. But there were ways that they could have got him out of there, and they didn't think he was going to do anything to my son. They made that very clear on Saturday night, and on Sunday. And how do they know that if he was successful with getting my son across the street, that he would have just thrown his napkin away and this man would have just brought him back to his mother, who didn't know he was gone? How do we know? How do we know what he would have done once he got my son across the street? But instead, like I said, they just said, you know what, you can stay, and here you go, here's some more kids. I have a huge problem with that, and after tonight, I'm hoping to just move on and just feel like I did the right thing.
I think you did.
You have, and I do appreciate your courage, because I
I
know this
appreciate-
is not something that you wanted to do.
No.
And
We
Chief,
love our town. I want to make that very clear, and that's why I don't think we didn't feel the way we do about our town, that we would care so much about the kids in this town that we know and the kids in this town that we don't know.
Chief, you had your hand up a little
Yeah, I
bit.
just wanted to add that I have been in contact with the Pepperell Police Chief, and I'm keeping them apprised of my investigation of what's going on in town.
Okay.
And when I finish this up, and I'm done talking with the Logans, I will make sure I can follow up with NPM too.
Okay.
Just keeping them advised.
And we have a timetable that, obviously you can keep the board apprised of what's going on too towards the end, and
My plan is to have this done by Monday,
Okay.
and set up an appointment to talk to the Logans sometime next week at deputy meetings, and then I'll send some to the board as well.
okay. And, obviously we can speak to you and we'll see, and I have faith in the chief that he's gonna investigate this thoroughly after what I've heard, so, thank you, and I am sorry, I am truly sorry. I know when we spoke on Saturday, I was trying to get all the facts, and I was a little bewildered, so I appreciate you sending that email to the board, so we kind of had an idea, and then also to the chief, so he was aware of what was going on. And for coming tonight, obviously, I mean, this is public input, but I mean, this is a very serious matter, and obviously everybody can see that, how serious you take it, because you're here, and giving us the details and your concerns, and I think, I don't want to speak for Gary or Janice, but I think we all feel the same way, that this is something that shouldn't happen.
That's what I've wanted to hear since Saturday night, and it feels good. It feels good to hear it, so I can't thank you enough. It means a lot to me.
Thank you, and I trust the chief will be in touch with you very soon, and
Thanks.
and us, and we'll go from there. Any more
Okay.
questions?
If there's anything else you need to write
Is there anything you can
to
do?
us, and just let us know if there's anything you're not satisfied with.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. I appreciate all your time.
Janice, I'm sorry.
And I
What?
sincerely hope that this one event becomes small at some point, so that you can see the rest of the good stuff again,
Yes,
okay?
I'm
So,
more than willing to do that because I plan to live here for a very long time.
good.
Good, and obviously reach out to us if there's anything we can do to help Cole
Thanks.
or anything, but.
I will. Thank you.
All right.
Have a nice
All right,
one.
thank
Good
you.
night.
Nice to see you.
Have a good
Appreciate
night.
it. Okay. Try to something clear a little bit. Is anybody else here for public input? Nobody?
Page
All
9.
right. Chief?
I'd like to bring some of my members up if...
Absolutely.
I don't think they want to come, but...
Yeah, Jeremy's always shying away from the microphone when he meets with us.
So,
You're not this quiet when you negotiate.
Yeah, you're loud then.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, guys.
so we're here tonight to, we have a contract for the rescue truck, and some of these members were on the committee. Well, all of these guys were on the committee for the rescue truck. It's a big process to do one of these trucks. You want to make sure you get the right thing for the town. So it's been like a year and a half project, getting the specs together and going out to bid and everything, and this is the culmination of it, is signing the contract for the purchase of the truck tonight. I'd like to just introduce the guys that are here. John Whalen's on the call department, he's lieutenant. Steve Shalaski, I think most people know Steve's been on the call department over 40 years. He's captain on the call department, and Tim Johnson's pulling it up, full-time captains. These guys had a lot of input onto, into this vehicle, so I just wanted them to be here.
All right. So we have a contract.
We do, we should have had in your packet, I think.
Yep.
I have two copies that I would like to have signed. They're already signed by the company that's doing
It's the
it.
entire board, if I saw correctly, too.
And
right?
the entire board needs
Yep.
to sign. The amount of the truck, we got 3 bids for the truck. Rosenblauer Firefighting Technology came in at $499,762. Five Star Fire, which is an SVI vehicle, they came in at $489,422. And Greenwood Emergency Vehicles, which is an emergency 1 truck, they came in at $465,400. And there was an option for trade-in of the existing vehicle we have now. Greenwood was the lowest bid. They offered $10,000 for trade-in. So the price of the contract inclusive of the rescue truck is $455,400. And there was $475,000 approved at the annual town meeting for the purchase of this vehicle.
And Chief, this is complete outfitting of this, is not just pumps, and this is the whole...
This is the whole
spiel.
thing. Well, most of the equipment that's going on it is going to be swapped over from the
Okay.
existing vehicle, but there will be some new purchases of equipment to go on the truck.
Estimated build time?
270 days is what's in the contract. So, about 10 months.
All right. Go ahead, Gary.
Make a motion, recommend awarding the bid for the replacement heavy rescue to Greenwood Emergency Vehicle in the amount of $455,400 inclusive of trade-in as outlined in the memo by Chief Petrozzi.
Seconded?
All in favor of Gary's motion? Janice?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Motion passes. And as soon as they get these contracts, they're going to start rolling on this? Is
Yep.
this something? Great.
Oh, yeah.
Can I go for a ride?
Yep. Okay. I'll let you drive it.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. I don't know if I'd do that.
Maybe in a parking lot.
A big parking lot.
Now, Chief, is this like your attack engine? I mean, is this the one that's going to be rolling?
This doesn't have a pump on it. This is
Okay.
this is just a rescue truck. It carries all the rescue equipment that
Okay.
that we have, the Jaws of Life, the Stokes baskets, the rope rescue gear, the tripod, the ice rescue equipment. Everything will be in one place now instead of having to bring 3 different vehicles to an ice rescue. Everything will be
Great.
included on that one vehicle. It's going to be a much smoother operation for us, Life expectancy should be 30 years plus on this vehicle. It's all aluminum construction, lifetime warranty on the structure of the truck. It's a quality vehicle.
30 years? Jeez.
30 years, Steve. I think that
We're lucky if
might,
we have 5 on our own vehicle.
We're gonna get,
Steve, that might outlive you.
probably outlive most of us.
Oh, we are, definitely me. Not you.
Generally be retired by then.
And Chief, just reading your memo, I mean, these are the guys that came up when we refurbished the engine last year.
Yes, it's the
And you're
same
very-
company.
yeah.
Every truck that we own is an emergency one vehicle. And I think one of the big reasons that they were a lot lower is because they didn't want to let somebody else in the door. They wanted to keep the town's business, so they sharpened their pencil.
No, it's fantastic.
Great.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good evening.
See ya.
Have a good night.
Yeah, nice to see you, Chief.
So were those reinforcements in case we said no? Is that why there was really all of you in case we said no?
Aren't you on the clock? Conduits.
Mr. Clerk, we have a public hearing regarding National Grid underground conduits, Bly Street. Is representative from National Grid here? Okay.
Town of Ayer, notice of public hearing, Ayer Board of Selectmen. The Ayer Board of Selectmen will be conducting a public hearing on Wednesday, November 5th, 2014, at 7:15 PM at the Ayer Town Hall, first floor meeting room, 1 Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432, for National Grid's desire to construct a line of underground electric conduits, including permission to excavate the public highways and construct the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures under and across the following public way or ways. Plan number 174-70930, Bly Street, beginning at a point approximately 230 feet southwest of the center line of the intersection of Forest Street. National Grid to install 70 feet of underground conduit and cable off existing poles 2. The underground will continue up a private drive to feed a new building being installed at number 19 Bly Street. Christopher Hillman, Chairman, Janice L. Livingston, Vice Chairman, Gary J. Luca, Clerk. October 22nd, 2014.
Anybody have any
Oh, second.
questions? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, did he?
You don't need anything.
You
Okay.
don't need to. Does anybody have any questions for National Grid?
I just want to make sure.
Sure.
Okay, so you're asking for the permission to excavate the public highways and construct the necessary sustaining. You're going to fix everything, right? That you tear up?
National Grid would need to dig up is probably more in the grass area than in the street.
Mm-hmm.
But with the road taken, it is part of public property. So we will not be digging up the road, we'll be digging up the street.
Okay.
In fact, we wouldn't even be doing it, the contractor's doing it, but we're asking for permission to put in the underground wires.
All right, so the contractors who do it will then, they're not going to leave a mess. They're
No.
going to
And
do
Mark,
everything
you're
properly,
going
right?
to oversee this, and you're okay with
Right,
this?
so they'll be required to submit for a road opening permit and a traffic permit, and then the road opening permit has restoration requirements on it.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? It is a public hearing. Okay. Gary?
Make a motion to approve the request from National Grid for underground conduits as outlined in the memo from National Grid on October 8, 2014.
Second?
All in favor? Janice?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Your request is granted.
Thanks.
Thank you. You have a nice evening.
You too.
Paperwork you need signed on that?
Anything from us?
Normally they would, you sign it and you send it in to North Andover,
Okay.
where you got the original paperwork.
Well, you just got an email. I don't think we got the original, but I'll follow up with Vincent tomorrow on that.
Vinnie from,
Yep.
yes, that's the
Okay.
correct person that you would follow up
Okay,
with.
will do. Thanks.
You have
Thank
a
you.
nice evening.
You
All right,
too.
Thanks.
Yeah, bye-bye.
J. Boss. Oh, yeah, makeup, yeah.
Make a motion to close public hearing.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I usually
Aye.
catch that.
Motion's, meeting is closed.
I feel like sometimes I'm saying it like 3 times.
Yeah, I know. You're a little confused sometimes. So we are on to the J-Boss presentation, zoning overview, Shirley Village Growth District. Was it Ed? Is he here?
It's that.
Yeah, is he here?
Ed and, forgot your name, you would,
Eric Hokinson.
Hi, Ed. Eric.
How are you?
Good.
It's all right if we join you at the table?
Oh, absolutely. Great. Ed, if you just don't mind saying your name for the camera and
Of course.
your title,
Let me
obviously.
just count.
Take your time.
Thank you for making room for us on your agenda tonight. My name is Ed Starzek. I'm Mass Development's Director of Land Entitlements and Master Planning at Devon's. This is my colleague Eric Hokinson, Assistant Project Manager. We are here tonight to brief the board on some proposed zoning changes that the Joint Board of Selectmen has been talking about now since late this spring, I believe. We've prepared some informational materials which are in your package, I believe, and some of the slides are excerpted up here on your screen. So I'd like to take a few minutes to run through these with you and with your viewing audience so that they can get a first sense of what we're talking about. We'll talk a little bit about the process that we're looking at for these zoning changes this time around and next steps.
I think I have all the maps on here, so
Do you-
just let me know when
If I
you
had,
change.
okay, we'll do it. I think that should be
Okay.
fine then. I don't.
Fine.
So we'll talk a little bit about process first. We're differing from our past attempts at zoning changes at Devon's this time a little bit, in that we have decided to add an upfront phase, an informal upfront phase, where we're going to be going out to all 3 towns into the Devon's community and talking about these proposed changes informally. That's both to solicit feedback, to see if any of these changes are real losers that we need to cut out of the package up front. We're really looking to to identify some win-win opportunities here, some chances for mutual success. So what we're doing tonight is really starting that informal process. I think we've envisioned regathering with the J-Boss at some point later this winter, possibly, I think, looking into mid-January at this point. Putting our heads together, seeing which of these 4 proposed questions, if any, have public support. And at that point, hopefully there will be at least one question that has some traction, and we would then move forward with a formal super town meeting process, which, as you know, starts with formal hearings like you just conducted here with NSTAR in all 3 towns, and notice periods, warrant articles being distributed, and then culminating in a super town meeting. So let me...
Yeah, there'll be more information such after this.
Right, this is the very beginning. No one's being asked to, at this point, we're looking for people to say, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense, or I'm concerned about this issue or that issue. This is not a finished product that we're putting before you at this point. So we'll start with the first change. You're seeing a locus plan for it up on the screen right now. The focus of this change is the so-called Shirley Village Growth District. It is, if you advance to the next slide, people can see exactly where we're talking about. It's the undeveloped land, about 35 acres, behind Ayer Shirley Middle School off of Front Street in Shirley. That's the middle school you see there at the top of the screen. To the left is Shirley Town Hall, Library, Police Department. We are proposing to allow for senior residential uses as an allowed use within this district. Those uses are currently not allowed. The site is zoned for a variety of uses, including hotel, retail, office, convention center, none of which really seem to be working so well at this point.
Casino?
No casinos, I'm sorry, Gary. You know, it's been close to 20 years since the reuse plan was ratified, and I think it's normal to find that maybe some of that original zoning is not working out quite as expected when it was drafted back in the 90s. So we've been talking to a number of parties in Shirley, including their Economic Development Committee. We've been talking to the Council on Aging in Shirley, to the Selectmen certainly, and there does seem to be a documented need for senior housing in the town. We've also incidentally heard that there's demand from the developers of this sort of housing who have seen the site and think that it would be a great location for senior housing and are interested in building housing there if only the zoning was in place to accommodate it. So that's what we're moving forward with. What is senior residential housing? In this instance, we're defining it as housing for individuals at least 62 years in age. It could run the gamut from sort of affordable senior housing without services, sort of basically an age-restricted apartment building. We've heard a lot of demand for that from the Shirley Council on Aging folks. They're just looking for plain vanilla, a clean place to live that's affordable for their incomes. But then we're also aware that there's some interest in assisted living type facilities. All of the senior residential facilities in the 3-town area are apparently at full occupancy, is my understanding. So I think it's reasonable to think that there might be more demand here. We would also provide that any senior housing here in Shirley Village Growth, there would be a preference for residents of Devens, Ayer, Harvard, and Shirley. They would be at the top of any lottery list to get into it, to the extent that that's legally allowed. We know it's allowed to some extent. I don't know exactly how much. There's a couple questions that typically come up with this proposed change. One of them is, how is this going to work with the Devens housing cap, which is, there's a housing cap at Devens of 282 units. After the Grant Road neighborhood is completed, we'll be about 20 units shy of that cap. We're talking here about up to 120 units of senior housing. So we're going to need to basically waive that cap specifically for this piece of land and specifically for senior residential uses. The other question that we get is this going to impact the delivery of local services? People are concerned about fire, ambulance services, and also Council on Aging services. The good news here is that Devon's Fire Department will be making any ambulance runs that are necessary, as well as also providing fire services. Council on Aging, Devon's does not have one, but we would be looking to enter into a contract with the Shirley Council on Aging to the extent that those services are needed, similar to the way that we contract with the town of Ayer for veterans services. We think that's a great sort of regional success story there. That's change 1. We can move on to change 2. I don't think I gave a locus plan for this next one. It's okay. Change 2, no, I didn't give you, I think I gave you the more complicated graphics, but that's fine. Change 2 would allow for healthcare uses in additional zoning districts at Devon's. Today, healthcare uses are allowed in 2 of our districts, basically the Jackson Road District, where Bristol Myers is located, and some of our other big users. It's also allowed down on Salerno. That's the old housing area that overlooks Route 2, kind of across from Harvard. Neither of those areas are really well suited for small-scale healthcare uses. We're talking about everything from clinical services, outpatient, doctor's offices, dentist's offices, laboratories, the full gamut. We've had some inquiries from that type of user before. We don't have any good spaces for them right now. We're eager to build out Devon's to kind of do our job, fill it up with new businesses and companies, and so we're asking that be expanded, that those districts be expanded to include the Shirley Village Growth District, which would be great to have a doctor's office next to your senior center, the Innovation Technology Center District, which is the area around Vicksburg Square, as well as the Business Community Services District, which is our downtown, like around the Devon's Grill, where we have some storefronts where you might be able to put a small healthcare type use there.
So you're not talking like a hospital or anything?
The existing definition, we're using an existing definition of healthcare.
Okay.
Hospital is included in it. I think maybe something I'm taking, this came up last night in Harvard as well. I'm thinking maybe we modify the definition to strike hospitals from it, because I don't think that we would land, they're not building a lot of new hospitals these days.
No, but I wouldn't like mine stolen.
You don't want yours taken, right? Okay, so scratch hospitals.
I'll play Frank, man. I'll play Frank.
That's fine. No, that's a valid,
Yeah.
it's a valid concern.
Every once in a million years it comes in.
Well, it's like Elijah's tent.
No, I agree with you. Absolutely.
Right. No, we wouldn't, I don't think they're going anywhere, but it's, I understand the concern. It doesn't hurt.
Okay.
We'll move on to the third change now, which actually goes with this graphic up on screen. This one is, the graphics key on this one, to understand what we're talking about. We have a piece of land at Devon's called Adams Circle. You'll see it in the lower right-hand corner of the screen there. It's inside that loop. That used to be a housing area at Devon's, and there's an aerial photo of it in the hard copy that I just passed out to you. You'll see that it looks like a housing area. I think the mailboxes finally got pulled out like a year ago or something.
They're all in the...
So it's zoned for some reason, when they pulled together the Devon's reuse plan in the 90s, it was zoned as open space, even though there's a road there with stormwater drains, power lines, mailboxes just fell apart. So it's sort of sitting there as a very natural place for us to expand the Devon's community. And furthermore, if you look up on the map in the red district, right above it, you can see we've got those are the existing solar homes at Devon's. We've got 8 single-family homes there that Carter Scott built for us that have been very, very successful. We've heard interest from a lot of people, and why don't we just continue more solar homes looping around Adams Circle, rebuild that neighborhood from scratch, and we always have to say, well, we can't because the zoning is not in place to support that. So what we're proposing a couple trades here to try to rezone Adams for residential, but then to compensate the public, if you will, for that rezoning by creating some other public benefits. So if you click one, please. So here we see, but down in the lower right hand, you'll see the brighter red boxes. That's the additional 10 acres of residential that we would zone at Adams Circle. Now, in exchange, we would do two things. There's the green box just to the left of the red, the bright green box. Yep, right there. So that is zoned residential today, but it sits on top of an underground stream corridor, so it's not really, it's environmentally sensitive, not especially buildable. So we would propose to rezone that, I believe it's 3.6 or 3.8 acres, rezone that for open space. And then the other move is here on the left, where we would rezone Rogers Field, which is our soccer field complex in front of Vicksburg Square. Right now, that's zoned for development. And Mass Development we have no plans to develop it, certainly. We'd like to run our recreation department there. But we heard from the Devon's Open Space Committee, that's a group of folks from the surrounding towns who get together every 5 years to write our open space plan, that they don't consider it permanently protected because it's still zoned for development. And yes, it's historic, but you could still chip away at it. So we're saying, let's permanently protect that with a conservation restriction so that it will never be touched. So basically, we're swapping 10 acres of additional residential for Rogers Field and about 4 acres of open space above the stream corridor. That's our proposal. Questions that come up with this change are, would there be any impact on the housing cap or on the residential cap for that? No, we're not saying we need any additional units. We think this might be a good place for the remaining 18 or 20 units that we have to go. Is Adams Circle valuable open space? No, it's really just grass and where they ripped up the old driveways. It doesn't have a lot of habitat value. I think that's it.
No turtles.
No turtles. Any questions on this one? Does the diagram make sense? Okay.
I mean, I think we all believe this needs to be updated. I know we've talked about this in the past. I know we talked about it when George was here back some time ago. So, I mean, it certainly makes sense to update
the sort of housekeeping level, in our mind, they're the sort of housekeeping level changes that we're just trying to make things a little more rational, put things where it makes sense for them to go. Just trying to kind of tidy it up as we get close to building it out. The fourth and final change I'm going to talk about today is another rezoning. Is there another graphic for this one? Nope. Ah, boy. And I did a beautiful, it's in your packet.
Yeah.
So again, this is down at the southern end of Grant Road. This is a situation that's arising because the proposed neighborhood that we're building at Grant Road is only going to fit on about 35 acres. Grant Road, the parcel itself, is about 80 or 90 acres, I believe. So we're going to have some surplus land at the end of the day. Some of it happens to be adjacent to another commercial district, the commercial district is in blue on your handouts. And Grant Road, the residential districts are in red. So using topography, there's some existing ridges that run through there that are fairly significant. We think that we've been able to carve out basically an additional 22 to 25 acres of commercial land at the southern end of Grant Road that would be well buffered from the adjacent Grant Road residential neighborhood. That would allow for additional commercial expansion at Devon's, along with the jobs, tax revenues, et cetera, the economic development benefits that we're looking for. Are there any questions on that one?
How many acres is that going to be?
That would be an additional, I'm showing 23 acres approximately here. It might be 20 to 20, I'd say 20 to 25. We sort of put an arbitrary number on it. You could stretch it a little bit.
And that's not near the forested, well, all the...
No, it's zoned for residential right now. It was the former Grant Road housing developed for Army housing back in the day. We just see it as if the land's not going to be, the land was developed. It's not pristine wilderness. It's got utility service. It's got roads. We're probably not going to develop it at this point with residential houses. So let's try to find something productive and useful to do with it. We are running out of large sites at Devon's, by combining these sites with Maple, the adjacent Maple and Oak, we would have a pretty significant site that we could market.
And we're talking about 4 separate articles, correct?
Yes, we're going to, the plan, we do a separate article for each question that would go to super town meeting. We're not looking for everything to be lumped together. There's no sense in doing that. If one of them is going to fail, fine. Hopefully it doesn't have to take everything else down with it. We are going to be, in addition to, presenting at each of the towns and at Devon's, we have set up kind of interesting website that I'm going to ask Eric to talk a little bit about.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
It's up and on.
Sure. Is it possible to pull it up on? It's right.
We are state of the art.
Now, we've also talked about in J-Boss about changing 498 to make it more user-friendly and have
It's www.
town meetings within 90 days instead of all the same night.
Yeah, that town meeting thing, I mean, it's hard to get 3 towns to agree whether the sky's blue.
Yeah. And make it a cumulative vote instead
Sure,
of,
I agree.
so
I support that.
it's kind of stuff we're working through. Ed, can you just talk about Grant Road for a second?
About
Because I haven't
status.
filled them in on that.
Status of Grant Road
Yeah.
housing development. We selected a developer last year. The group it's led by Dan Gainsborough of Now Communities. He developed I believe it's called Riverwalk in West Concord. It's a small pocket neighborhood there that's actually winning a lot of awards nationally right now. So he and his associates have signed an agreement with us to build up to 124 units of housing. They are still in their due diligence process right now, although that is coming to an end, and they've initiated outreach to the Devon's residents on some particular issues. So they'll be in front of the deck in the new year. I'll probably have a hearing in February. That'll be a place for everyone to comment, and hopefully starting to build some houses in the spring, or at least getting going on their site work.
And you're talking over 5 years, right?
Five phases. The first phase will be about 17 or 18 houses. We're anticipating about a year each. Obviously, if the market is better or worse, that'll be adjusted accordingly.
And that's all in Ayer, right? Grant Road? Is that
No,
all? just
no,
up there?
that's
Shirley?
Harvard.
It's all in Harvard, yes.
Oh, really?
Is Vicksburg.
So that's where it
Bates
splits there
on-
by the bridge there, so that slices through at Harvard.
Yeah, it's sort of the middle portion
Okay.
of Grant Road. You're right.
Okay.
They all
Yeah.
do. The towns
Yeah,
do
they all-
converge up
you
at the top
converge right
there.
there. Okay.
Yeah. Are we not getting a good?
Yeah, we don't have good browser compatibility.
Okay. Well, Eric will talk a little
I
bit
can
about it.
talk a little bit about it. I apologize, we don't have the visuals to go along with it, but we're working with Co-Urbanize. They're a startup focusing on real estate development, and basically it allows us to host all of the project documents relating to the zoning changes online in one place for anybody to go and read, just to make sure that what they're hearing is what's actually being proposed. It also allows us to gauge support through anonymous polls. It asks on each zoning change if you support the proposed change or require more information, don't have an opinion, or wouldn't support it. And in addition, it allows you to leave a more specific comment that can be tagged to each change as far as what information you may like, other suggestions you may have that we haven't considered. And it's not to replace any of the other avenues of contacting you or us via email, phone, mail, in person here. It's just another avenue to have everything in one place, and for people to also contact us right there while they read the information. So I apologize, it's not working. It does look nice.
It should work on your home computers.
Yeah.
I think it's just the smartboard
Yeah.
browser is a little
Yeah.
unique.
So it's not that smart, is it?
Yes, sir.
And through the chair, gentlemen, and we could link this through the Town of Ayer's website and our media,
Yes.
refer it to this.
That would be ideal. We do have we made little cards with the URL on it. I don't know if it's easy for you
Why don't we give
to.
one to
You
Robert?
can
at
either,
least?
you can just add the link to your site.
And we could do that now, obviously.
Yeah, anytime you want. It's the site is live.
It's live.
As of
Okay.
tonight, we turned it live when we were having dinner at the cottage. So we're ready to go.
Just one last question.
Sure.
Mr. Chair. In terms of the poll, is it one per terminal, or is there some kind of control on the poll? And
So in order to vote or comment, you have to be logged in.
okay,
So it does one vote per login
okay,
on each question. So there's 4 different questions, and you can vote on each one. Obviously, comments are unlimited as a way to foster conversation.
great.
So that's one way that we'll be able to gauge support in addition to these meetings and other traditional forms of input.
Great. Thank you.
How'd that go last night?
Pretty good. Timing's a bit of an issue there. They're concerned about butting into the holiday season, so we may be pushing into January. But
And do we plan like one hearing per town?
yeah, I mean, we'll come back and do as many. We're happy to meet with any group who would like to hear from us. This is our first stop in Ayer. We're going to hit all the communities, and
Road trip.
I said we'll probably be back.
Well, we appreciate you coming in and bringing all this. It's certainly a lot to look at, and to me, a lot of it makes sense, so it's good to see that we're kind of
Yeah.
moving forward here.
I mean, the people in Shirley really supported too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Council of Aging, well,
Yeah, they're
they were
very,
all
very
over it.
interested.
And
Yeah, they were-
I still don't understand why I have a say in
What?
what the town of Shirley does, or the town of...
And why they don't get any revenue?
Why they don't get any
That's a
revenue.
discussion for another time.
Yeah, that's the key thing.
Right.
We can discuss that at a later date. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. Nice seeing you.
Yeah,
Nice to see you.
thanks for coming in.
We'll probably have a meeting in the middle of the month sometime. You guys are around.
Always.
Yeah. I think he filled in, I had some more stuff, but it was just the 498 changes that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And the other thing we talked about at our last meeting is for each town to see if there's an appetite to put in some money to keep our administrative assistant working, and if we need a lawyer for anything. We're talking $10,000 per town to augment the, what we use 100 and, it was initially 106,000, and that was 8 years ago. So we've used 75 of it, I think, which is,
Yours was bad.
yeah, no, it's just pretty good. But now it's getting down, and we want to make sure that we have,
It's funded.
so I'll be coming forward with something for Robert and for finance, just to see if there's an appetite for that.
Sure. Mark? Please.
Thank you. Have Walter come up also. Thank you. The first item on my agenda is the appointment for the, find my agenda, for the Assistant Highway Foreman. That position was previously filled by David Nelson Sr., who retired at the end of August. So we have a process in the union contract to fill the position. So we went through the process. We polled the employees that expressed interest, submitted a letter of interest. We had 5 employees, 3 in the highway division, 1 in the wastewater division, and 1 in the solid waste division. We had an interview committee of myself, Doug Jasperson, the highway foreman, and Pam Martin, the business manager, and we interviewed all 5. We had the same set of questions that we asked each one. And based on the qualifications, experience, and the interviews, we're recommending that Walter Wood be promoted to the assistant foreman position for the highway department. Walter is currently our wastewater collection system operator and our backup sludge driver. He lives in Ayer. He's been with the DPW since January 2007. He's got 14 years of experience.
He's got his CDL A license, hoisting license, and his tanker endorsement. I've worked with Walter since I've been here, and he does a great job. He's always very informative, looking for better ways to do things. He takes pride in the maintenance of the equipment that he works on. I'll give you an example of one night I got a call for a backed up sewer line over at Devon's Shopping Center, which I kind of thought was the Devon's Shopping Center problem, and so I was going to go check before I called in someone to look. So as I was locking up the gate, Walter drove up because he had forgot something at the treatment plant, and he says, "Oh, I'll go with you." And I said, "Well, do you want to go punch in first?" And he goes, "No, I think I know what the problem is." And we went out and he looked at the problem, and so we solved the problem and didn't have to charge the town for overtime for a call-in. So that's the kind of person that Walter is. He's always looking out for what's best for the wastewater system. So it is, and moving into the highway division it's not a jump for him because he has worked in construction for most of his adult life, and he knows how to work the equipment and the trucks and understands public works. So I think he'll be a good addition to the team.
Go ahead, Gary.
Mark, is there any other licensing that Walter needs?
Not for
You got everything?
the highway foreman or assistant foreman.
And does it start new probation here?
Yes, yeah. There's a 6-month probation on all positions.
Now, will Walter's position, presuming he's promoted, have to be backfilled?
Yes, and that's another agenda item that I'll talk about. So right now, as you know, our tanker driver has retired, and since Walter's the backup driver, he's been driving, and so with Walter moving to the highway division, we'll be short 2 people in wastewater. So what we'll do is advertise for his position, and then as I'll present later on, I have bids for hiring a contractor to begin the hauling process until we decide how we want to handle that whole aspect of the work.
Okay.
Make a motion to appoint Walter Wood as Assistant Highway Foreman with the recommendation of the DPW Superintendent.
Seconded.
Okay. All in favor? Gary?
Aye.
Aye.
Dennis? Chair says aye. Great, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just anything you want to add? I mean, I think you probably know, as everybody out there knows, we can be a pain in the ass sometimes as a board, but we're, for lack of a better term.
Maybe you.
But I think, we're all out for the same goal, make the town a better place, and I think we're all on that same page now, but I'm proactive, and it sounds like you have what we're looking for, so I'm looking forward to it and working with you, and it looks like you get a lot of support here. I'm assuming you guys are all here in support, so that's great. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm happy to have you.
Good luck.
Welcome aboard.
Great, now you go load up the tanker truck for
Yeah, now get to work.
Hey, Mark, is this effective immediately, or is there a transition with Walter's position now?
We'll have to, depending on the contract for the sledge hauling, we'll have to figure that, because our other backup driver is Brian Boomgarden, who's out on sick leave, so we don't have too many other drivers.
Okay.
So.
Well, don't overwork and do much.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks, Walter.
So the next item I just wanted to inform the board on and get...
Guys, thanks for coming, too.
I wanted to inform the board about and get concurrence with is administrative order for Vitasoy. We've been having problems for about all of August and all of September with them violating their discharge. And they are in the process of making upgrades to fix it, but most of these problems were related to their lack of oversight on operating their plant. And we met with them last week and discussed this specifically, discussed what the problems were. They are aware of the problems, they're making some changes, but it always seemed like they're supposed to tell us when they have a problem, but it always seemed like we were the ones telling them, and then they would deny it, and then we'd go out and say, look at what you're dumping in our system, and they go, oh yeah, I guess we did have a problem. So under our sewer use regulations, which are, I didn't realize are pretty outdated, we need to, that's the next step, is to update those, but we do have a process because they have a permit to discharge to us. The EPA oversees that permit, and so we're having a consent order with them to, or administrative order with them to basically say, you're going to have to tell us weekly what you're doing, you can't have any more violations, and we're fining you about $12,000 for the violations.
Is this the same company that was admitting that horrible smell down there last summer, or is this?
Yes.
They've mitigated that to.
They've mitigated to a certain point, and they've just barely got their new scrubbers installed. They're not up and running yet. So they are spending, according to them, about $2 million to upgrade their wastewater pretreatment system and their odor control system. And they take this seriously, but we've had a number of meetings with them.
Sure.
And
I remember these,
we need to get their attention. And I don't think $12,000 really gets their attention, even though when we met with the plant manager, he was upset about that amount and said, well, anything you can do about it. I was originally thinking it was going to be around $50,000 or $60,000.
I was just going to ask you, is there anything we can do about it? Can we double it?
At this point, we can't.
Okay.
Now, there could be more coming because this only goes through September, so we haven't seen all of the October reports. But I think we've got their attention. And I've worked with them since I've been here. We've always had issues out there, and I've worked with them to try to avoid this kind of an order with them. But this past 2 months, they've basically just kind of said.
And this has ramifications on what you guys.
Well, so what happens?
Correct?
What happens? Yes, we actually violated our permit this last month because of this, because it increases our solid loads, and so our plant's working a lot harder, and we can't get the removals we need. And what usually happens is, for whatever reason, we notice these at night or on a Saturday, and so we don't notice it right away, and it takes us, last time it took us about 2.5, 3 weeks to get our system back running, because they dump so much heavy loads in.
Which obviously is manpower and time.
Right.
And
And we've included in that $12,000
Yeah, I saw that.
some of our manpower. But it just, when that happens, it distracts us from doing everything else that we ought to be doing.
Absolutely.
Right.
I'm in full favor, just before
Yeah.
we vote, to do this, and I would also be in full favor of authorizing Mark to let this company know that we're not going to be fooling around with this in the future either. This is just not something that they can slap on the wrist and.
Yeah.
No, they do have a new operations company. They had an operator who left last spring. They hired a new operator, and I think that was part of the reason why they were having these problems. They've hired an outside contractor to run the plant. I know that company. I've worked with them in the past, and I plan to meet with them and stress to them the importance of this.
And will this be mitigated at all once their new system is online?
Yes,
Okay.
it should be, hopefully, their new plant will be online by the end of December. And what I said, well, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 weeks of getting the
Learning
bugs out of
curves,
it, but it should definitely improve what they're sending us.
Does this cover your costs, Mark? This figure, at least?
It covers our extra costs,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Did you have a hand up here? I'm sorry.
Yeah, what kind of motion you need from us, Mike?
Well, basically, the way our pretreatment program is written is that I have the authority to enter into these administrative orders, and primarily because sometimes we need to respond to these pretty quickly, so we can't wait for a board meeting. So I just I just wanted to inform you, and if you want to take a vote of support, then that would be appreciated.
Good, Gary?
I'll make a motion to support the DPW superintendent's administrative order 016-014-01 between the town of Ayer and Vitasoy, included in the amount of $11,986 payable to the town, as outlined in the memo October 24th by the superintendent.
Second.
All in favor? Janice?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Chair says aye. The motion's unanimous. And you don't need us to sign it?
No.
Okay, good. All right.
The next issue is for signature by the chair. It's for the Grove Pond Water Treatment Plant upgrade. It's I thought it was a final change order, but I think I have another $1,000 one coming. But it's a change order that includes 4 different things. When we did the building addition, we had to relocate the fire alarm because the fire alarm was on one side of the building and they needed it moved where they had better access. So that was one item. We changed as we got into the valve controls for the filters. We decided to do some upgrades because some of the wiring was getting corroded and damaged. So while they were there, we asked them to give us a change order to modify the wiring for the filter solenoid valves. And we also, for the furnace for the office, it's a heat exchanger, so it takes water from the treated water line and runs it through the heater and goes back into the raw water line. And there was too much head loss in the piping, so we had to add a circulator pump on that. And then the final item was, when we bid the job, we put in an allowance for the electrical charges to National Grid, and then based on the actual charges, we have a credit of about $36,000 coming back. So the net change order is a credit of $17,580.59. So it reduces the
I like
contract
those change
cost.
orders.
Yeah, I know, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, and this is
Okay.
for signature by the board.
Oh, okay, that was by the chair.
I mean, by the chair, yes.
Oh, okay. Make a motion to approve change order number 4, as outlined in June 17th, 24, no, it's a date of
It's
issuance.
October 17th is the effective date.
Okay, October 17th, in the amount of a decrease of $17,580.59. Signature by the board.
Seconded.
All in favor?
By
Oh,
the chair, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All in favor, Gary?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
And chair says aye, so motion passes. Let's get those right now, I guess. Thank you, sir.
And then the final item, which was an agenda addition, and I don't know if you all have the memos that, I know they were emailed out today, and I apologize. I just opened bids on this just before the agenda was submitted, and by the time I got all the numbers from everybody and did the cost analysis,
It's two-sided.
it's a 2-page memo. So basically, right now, the way our sludge operation runs is we pump we have sludge, which is the residuals, or we call them biosolids, out of the wastewater treatment plant operation. And what we do is we pump that into a tanker truck and we drive it to either Millbury, the Upper Blackstone Valley, or to Cranston, Rhode Island. We had a permanent truck driver. That's primarily what his job was to haul sludge, about 2 loads a day. And he retired. Walter is the backup driver, and he's been driving since then, but from talking to some of the other superintendents, I thought we could save some money if we contracted out those services. Also, I think even though we have insurance for hauling, I think there's a fair amount of liability to the town to have a 6,500 gallon tanker full of sewage sludge driving down the highway a couple times a day. Well, stuff happens, and we have winter conditions, we have traffic issues, you have distracted drivers, and all we need to do is have that jackknife and spill sludge all over the place, and it's a world of hurt for the town. So I would rather pay a contractor to do that for us. So I went out for bids and got prices for driving it to Cranston, driving it to Millbury, and then another price for you drive it and dispose of it, and I don't care where you take it. So we got 3 bids, and while trucking was the low bidder with on each of the options, and so I did a cost analysis, and our total cost annually, if I take into account labor, maintenance, fuel, is between $270,000 and $280,000 a year to haul and dispose of the sludge. If we contract out, the cost is about $240,000 a year. So there is a significant savings to the town based on the numbers and the assumptions that I made. Now, things do change, so those aren't exact numbers, because sometimes, like right now, we're hauling most of our loads to Upper Blackstone, which is more expensive than Cranston, but we need to do it because Wally's doing 2 jobs, so he doesn't have the time to drive. So what my recommendation is that we award a contract to Wall Trucking of Shrewsbury, Mass. for the remainder of FY15 for an amount not to exceed $150,000. I have money obviously in my budget for hauling and disposing of sludge, because my labor line item will go down, my maintenance line item will go down.
Overtime.
And then the way I structured the bid was that we had, it was for FY15 and with 2 additional years at a consumer cost index increase on
Single
the
years?
prices. 2 more single years. So what I would say is if we could award this for $150,000, which is the cost for the remainder of the year, and then as we start getting closer to FY16, we'll look at see if it's working for us.
And, I'm sorry, I have one question. If we do, or you get something worked out with them up Hillier, is that affected in any way, obviously? Hauling with Devon's, I know you're in negotiations.
Right, yeah, so we'll, and I met with them, and I'm waiting for them to get back with some costs for that, but we'll structure the contract so that we can opt out of it as soon as we get to that point.
And yeah, obviously, that's not anything imminent, so.
The other issue is that I've talked to the union steward about this, and we do have a position in the union for a truck driver. What I propose is we leave that unfilled at this point, and but if we do determine we need to fill that, then we will. If not, we'll negotiate. Right.
Okay.
One way or another, the money's going out the door.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Make a motion to approve the recommendation to award a contract to Wall Trucking for the remainder of FY15, the amount not to exceed $150,000 for sludge hauling with the DPW in a memo dated November 4th, 2014.
Just before, any seconds, Robert, I apologize, I missed you.
Just 3 quick points. One is that this is moving definitely in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank Mark for all of his work on this, and this did come together, as he said, sort of Friday into Monday, because I think it's in the best interests of the town. Secondly, I think we may also realize some additional cost savings through the environmental and pollution liability insurance that we have on the tanker truck. That will obviously, we're not going this route, at least it would be adjusted some. That's not one of the highest policies that we have because of the nature of it. And lastly, and Mark did touch upon it, but just in the issue of full disclosure, we will meet with the union, as Mark said, and just do a contract side letter that everybody's on the same page. And we're not eliminating the position, just not filling the position. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Sorry about that, Robert.
Is that supposed to be signature by the chair?
No, what we'll do is, I
contract?
have to get the contracts, and so he's starting to pull together his bonds and insurance and things, and then we do have a draft contract. I just have to do the wording right on the costs.
I'm sorry, Kyle, you didn't have the answer to that question.
Would you like a second on your motion?
I was going to say, I was going to make it in case anybody forgot.
Seconded.
All in favor? Okay.
Aye.
Janice, chair says aye. Motion passes. Looks like it could be a workout for us, so.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, one thing while you're here, the two-way paving that we got preliminary, okay to go on the tip?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Good job. I mean,
Oh,
it's-
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next step is, we need to
$2 million.
get Montechusett Regional Planning to get it into their plan. So I've been talking with Brad Harris there
Okay, good.
about that. And there's also a seminar next week, 2 weeks, about that the state's putting on that kind of goes through the process a little bit better, so we'll understand all kind of the ins and outs of it. But Montechusett Regional Planning, they have the transportation improvement plan, and so we'll get on their list and then get the funding going.
And Park Street would be nice too.
A lot of
Well,
places.
Park is basically, I've got to talk to them about it, because that's really a state road.
Right.
So they have to do something. I think the town had previously submitted on the tip for that because we wanted to do some economic development out at that end, and that project kind of fell through. But we do need to do some water and sewer extensions out there, but that's separate from the tip.
Okay.
Yeah, that road definitely needs some work.
How long does it usually take with the tip, with MIPC?
It depends on, I'm guessing the earliest we would probably see a shovel in the ground out there is construction season 2017.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Which we are going to be doing the water and sewer improvements next spring.
Right.
Right.
So while that's going on, and we've just started the design process for that, which is, we're having a design workshop to look at the whole corridor.
Maybe when the time comes, we could put some pressure on.
That's what you really need to do, is
State.
once you get everything lined up, then you need to get the politicians to
Yeah.
put some pressure on it. We went through it in my town, with a road that I think they did the water and sewer improvements about 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and we were on for 2017.
Thanks.
And they said, oh, we're gonna move that up to 2014, but then Grid came in and said, oh, we got to put new gas in. So
Yeah.
now it's 2015.
Just, Robert had a question. The street signs, the traffic signs, the slow signs, whatever you want to call them.
The flashing stop sign and the speed limit sign?
The speed limit, yes, thank you.
Awesome.
Speed limit
Yeah, no,
signs work.
the speed
Yeah.
limit signs are amazing. I mean, I noticed that, Chief, you probably noticed it. You see the cars, as soon as they hit them, it's...
See the brake lights.
They're
Yeah.
stomping
They've
on them.
slowed down over the bridge.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
choice, honestly, design, you made a great choice, because I've seen some of them that were awful.
Yeah,
They
the
did
only,
great.
I'll just caution you that the eastbound on Sandy Pond Road, I've been having some problems programming that, so I gotta go back out. It's a little awkward to do, and,
He's gonna hop in.
Explain it
hop
to
in
me.
his
so
car.
gotta get
I get my laptop out, and I'm holding it,
Yeah.
and trying to do it, and then I think I do it, and then I get in my car and I drive back, and then I try speeding, and I go,
That's
oh, it
awesome.
didn't work.
And,
And I gotta say, sorry.
yeah, go ahead. No, I was...
The flashing stop sign, what I have noticed a significant improvement when I come home and I come around this corner. people are finally get it.
Yeah, we have some
you
more
know?
ideas for that.
And
area,
after
right?
Yes,
after
yes.
Thanksgiving, we take every other red one and make it green.
Oh, that would be pretty. Be a little
So,
confusing when the
yes,
green is for go.
No, Gary noticed a difference. Also, the light post out here, getting that,
Yeah.
coming in to vote last night was amazing, the difference out there. And also the transfer station stuff that you guys got done this week.
Yeah,
So,
so,
thank you
yeah.
for that.
There's some issues with the lights too, they're rusting out. Huh?
Right, so we replaced 4 more this year, but we need to have it in the budget to do a certain
base.
number. And
Yeah, it makes
yeah.
sense. Well,
Yeah, when, you don't realize it until he takes
Sure.
one out and you look at how
Yeah.
rotted it
And these are
is.
aluminum as opposed to.
Yeah, they're light.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Robert, I know you raised your hand a little bit ago.
Through the chair, just real quick, well, Mark, while you're here, I know you've been proactive on the transfer station, and just through the chair, if you could just quickly explain for the board's benefit and the public what you're doing in preparation for the winter at the transfer station.
Well, we did some paving. There's one area that is probably the worst part of the paving that we can't really do a temporary patch on because what the long-term plan is to put concrete in there because when he slides the recycle compactor, it just tears up the paving. So we paved the entrance apron, so that's all good to go. And then there are a couple other spots we did some patching on. We're also, last year we rebuilt the catwalk on one side of the recycle container. We're starting that. Actually, he just started manufacturing it this week, so we're going to replace that old wooden catwalk with a nice metal catwalk. And then we're also looking at over where the brush dump is, cleaning up, we've got those old rotten concrete blocks there, getting a good retaining wall in there and some decent Jersey barriers. And then next spring, if the capital budget gets approved, we'll repave the whole parking lot. And then we're also going to put some parking meters out there for the people that like to hang out there on
I love it.
Saturday.
What about the coffee? Come on, I thought you were gonna sell coffee.
Oh, and just for the general public that's listening, I think by the end of this week, we're ready to go live with buying your permits online. So as of
Good.
November 1st, you can buy your permit for next year, but we are going to be doing that online, and they're just kind of testing it out this week, and then I think by the end of this week, you should be able to go right online and buy your
So they're being
permit.
mailed out?
I think that's how Pam's doing it. I think you mail it out. And then the next step is we're going to do, I thought they were doing it as part of this, but the next step is we're going to be able to buy bulk stickers online too.
Okay, good.
And then you'll just bring your receipt to the transfer station.
Oh, good.
So, let's see, because it's been a while since the three of us have been together. So basically, in the last few weeks, there's been lights replaced. We've got new stop signs put up, new speed limit signs put up. We've got some improvements going on the transfer station. And now you're going to go online? Well, aren't you just rocking
And we're short 3 guys.
And you're short 3 guys, and yet you're rocking and rolling.
We left something, beaver mitigation has.
I refuse to talk about the beavers.
But you know, and one of the things that I've tried to emphasize with the capital committee is, and you probably hear it every day, that we've got this aging infrastructure. The water guys fixed a leak over on Rosewood Ave yesterday. It wasn't a big leak, but it was a leak. They were out on
Wright Road.
well, it was on Snake Hill just before Wright Road today. We didn't quite get that one fixed because it was a little different than we thought. So they dug it up, figured out what they needed. Now they're going to get all the parts and shut it down another day. And Pleasant Street water main is just about all done. They just have a couple more days up there, and then that should be good to go. And I've heard from the people up there that the water quality is
gonna ask you that.
drastically better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
Well, I think we should come up with some bumper stickers that Air DPW rocks.
To week.
Because
So-
they definitely.
From week to week.
Wow.
No,
This is the
you're
last
great.
time, since the last time the three of
Yeah.
us met, a lot gotten
Yeah.
done, so
No, thank you, Mark.
thank
all right,
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Did you want me to stick around for traffic
Yeah, it
mitigation?
shouldn't be long if you don't mind, but if you have to, I mean, we can, okay, great. And Chief Murray, you'll be here for a little bit? I'd like to have you involved in that too. What's that?
Wanna do it now?
What do we have? Well, we have Stephanie and,
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we
That's right.
still got the
Kevin.
town administrator's
Sorry.
report.
We can do it before your report if that, just to get these guys out of here. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought
Yeah.
Kevin and,
Yeah, they're here too, so.
but yeah, let's just do it quick, Robert.
Okay.
Sorry.
And I will be brief. The first item, which I sent electronically to
Through
the
the chair.
board, and Ms. Antonellis will pass out, is an administrative update for today. And actually, in a conversation I had with Selectman Livingston, it made sense to sort of put together an update for basically November 5th until January 1st. In other words, all the things that not only myself and Ms. Antonellis, but the board and the office would need to do. So what you have in front of you for each month, November and December, you have sort of a schedule of key dates, meetings and deadlines, and then key projects for each month. I also put on the second page the ongoing legal matters facing the town, the various cases or items, because as the board knows and can appreciate, this does require some significant time from the BOS office to address. And I won't go through all of it, and I'm sure that it's not entirely exhaustive here. I may have missed something, so please let me know. Always open to additions, deletions, edits, and so forth. I just want to point out a couple things, and I'll just then move into my action items. Again, on Tuesday, November 18th, your next regular board meeting, in addition to a regular meeting, we'll have the tax classification public hearing, and the Board of Assessors will be here. Also, Mr. Ramirez, who will be leaving Mass Development, but he is coming here on November 18th to give an update on various projects and going on up there.
Have they announced a successor for George?
They have not. I want to just also point out that the license renewal process is underway, and give a special shout out to my assistant, our assistant, Ms. Antonellis, redid the whole ABCC licensing system, new letter, spreadsheet.
Great.
Put a lot of effort into it, really electrified it in the sense that it records everything, it put together a real dynamite system. And so that process is underway. She sent all the renewals out on October 28th. She also sent to the tax collector, the treasurer, and the DPW all of the license renewals for verification of any taxes or fees owed. I'm proposing that at your December 16th meeting, which is your second regular meeting for December, that the board actually vote the renewals. Lastly, in November, and we're 5 days behind in working, I've given this to Mr. Maher, but not the town's fault, is the finalization of the transfer of the sale of the old fire station. The buyer's lawyer and town council are just about there, and then it will just require signatures by the board on that paperwork. I had hoped for November 1st. We're just about there. The completion of the transfer of the 76 Central Ave to Habitat for Humanity is well underway. And the completion of the transfer of the property of the air commuter rail platform access, and I'll talk about that in just a moment, is well underway. I also want to point out, folks have asked, it came up at the last capital planning committee meeting about the town hall windows replacement project. That project went all through procurement. Our historic preservation restriction that we have on the building is written in a very different way, that you're supposed to present a procured project. When we did that, Mass Historic has issues with the fact that the town's proposed resolution, though...
Crap, I'm sorry, it's absolutely ridiculous.
It is, that is how other towns get around this.
Right,
I mean,
so
you know?
It's awful.
I have, at the request, this had come up before the capital planning committee, have asked town council two questions. One, what are the implications of moving forward with the project, because there's a historic preservation, because I think we need to know that, the board needs to know that as far as options. And secondly, we continue to try to work with Mass Historic on this. The legislative delegation is involved, has sent a letter. The issue, just for the board's benefit, is because of the material proposed in our proposal, I'm looking to the frame, is only 40% wood. It's a composite as opposed to a 100%.
You couldn't tell if you put it in your wood stove.
Right,
Yeah, exactly.
you wouldn't know.
We did the
That-
windows up at the Pleasant Street.
That has been the sticking point.
And mind you, it's one gentleman on this
Yeah,
board
it's
that...
the director of the architectural, within the
Yeah.
architectural review. We are trying to work with them. I will be before you very shortly with basically a final recommendation on this project. I also just want to point out that Mr. Sherman has illustrated that we have done what Mass Historic has recommended twice, and it's failed in terms of the seal of the windows, number one. Number two, we know of other examples of historic buildings that have used this approach, and aesthetically, it wouldn't look any different.
No, they're beautiful.
And lastly,
Amazing.
other recommendations to use storm windows and so forth defeat the whole
imagine that?
purpose. So,
Storm windows?
at this point, that's where that is at, but we will bring that to conclusion. Lastly, I just want to point out, again, as we look forward into December, on December 5th, I will be issuing the budget directive to all departments for FY 2016 for preparation of the budget process. And I mentioned the 16th. And on Friday, December 19th, as organized through Ms. Knox and the town clerk and Ms. Antonellis, which was mentioned before, we're going to have this town hall document disposal event here, and that should free up some space. And I also want to point out, at the Capital Planning Committee, Ms. Knox from IT has presented a request for funding to begin the digitization of records, starting, if approved by town meeting and the committee, for July 1st of 2015 to commence to digitize all the records we can in the town clerk's office, and then move from there. I know that Selectman Livingston has been working on this with Ms. Antonellis and others, the completion of the Town Hall Board Commission Committee Handbook.
I just want to say Carly's done an awesome job.
Mr. Johnston,
Thank you,
as
both of
mentioned,
you.
we are going to complete and implement the senior tax work-off program towards the end of December for the January start date. And I then showed you the various legal matters before the board. And again, when you have more time to look at it, in the interest of time, if I've missed something, or this will be a working document, because what we'll do also, in my conversation I had with Selectman Livingston, as we get to January 1st, then sort of put together a whole matrix looking at, let's say,
Timeframe.
January 1st,
Yep.
so we keep it all going.
Sure.
I think that's helpful for us, it's helpful for you, and we keep it on the same page.
I just gonna say I love this, and I would like to see us, something like this continue, because I think this is great.
We tried this a
having it
while ago,
all.
and it didn't for some reason, and I think it was more of the people that were sitting here with us. So I think this works with
Yeah, because,
us.
it reminds us all of the key
Correct.
things
Yeah.
that we need to do.
Grant
And
writer.
I think this is great, because we get kind of distracted with other stuff, and
Sure.
it's like, oh, boom, 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 boom. So I absolutely love this, and I thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Okay. In your packet, you have, and then we'll get right to the action items, is a memo I did on Halloween, October 31st. It was the MBTA Rail Trail Surface Parking Lot Update memo, and I'm sure the chair may want to add some comments. On Thursday, October 30th, this was a meeting at the request of the MBTA, representatives from MART, Mr. Berry and his attorney, Selectman Hillman, myself, Mr. Mahar, Ms. Pauline Hamill, one of our MART representatives, and Mr. Callahan from the ATSAC advisory group happened to show up down there as well. The purpose of the meeting from the MBTA was to ensure that the transfer of this land, this issue that's been resolved, moves forward timely, and that the town is prepared, the town and MART, to address some issues in that transfer moving forward, and I've highlighted that here. Right now, where it's at, the property owner and his attorney are finalizing the documentation, again, for that transfer. They do have to come before the Air Planning Board, because it does change the parcel boundaries, and it's required that the planning board approve those changes. Upon approval, then it can go to the Registry of Deeds, and then the transfer can occur. It sounds more winded than it is, but
I'm sorry, and it's a covenants on 4 separate parcels, even though it's one owner too, so it has to be, it's a little more harder to make happen fast, but they have to remove from this, and this, even though it's all agreed upon, so it does take a little bit longer than,
So in the back of the Advocates building, there's already been paved, that's part of the pathway. When we were there, the MBTA has requested that Mr. Berry extend that another 4 feet. Selectman Hillman had pointed out some drainage issues that are going to be fixed from the roof drains to prevent, to have them go underground instead of any ice damming issues. Mr. Maher with Mart is working on the lighting, to increase the lighting along there. This is, in preparation for the winter, and as well as Mart will be working again on some of those access issues. So it was really a meeting to make sure that we're all on the same page with the transfer, and secondly, to make sure that some of these issues such as the lighting, which was really concerned to MBTA, were brought up. So this memo was also sent to the advisory group. And lastly, Mart is in the process of issuing RFP for a design engineer firm that can begin to design what this whole thing is going to look like, so we can have the public hearing process and get the public input on the design. Secondly, they also have issued an RFP to hire a property appraisal firm for the acquisition of all of the other properties that have been part of this project. So we hope to have a shovel in the ground very soon, and really full construction underway in the very early spring of 2015. And again, it was a very positive
absolutely.
meeting, and this has also been sent to the state delegation, so everybody is working in the same direction.
And this is more of a temporary, I mean, the layout will be there, but, patching some of the potholes, getting some striping down, temporary lights, obviously. And once the land does switch ownership, Mr. Berry is going to put up a fence from the Advocates building all the way down to about across the street here to separate access for his property to the rail trail. So obviously the new access will be used a tremendous amount.
Will we be clearing that during the winter?
Ultimately, upon the transfer, and I have to speak to the superintendent because Mart also has some resources with that.
Yeah, I would hate for it not to be clean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it has to be for,
Right.
for emergency vehicles.
And I think a key point is
Or just even
until
walking.
that
Absolutely.
transfer is legally registered at the Register of Deeds, just to be clear, Mr. Berry is still the quote owner and responsible for that. But yes, that's a conversation I'll be having with our DPW and Mart.
Okay.
And Mr. Berry was very good about adding some lights at his own cost to the Advocates building too in the meantime. too.
drainage.
And the drainage,
Yeah.
so,
Oh, good.
yeah, he's been very, very good with that.
And if I could just add to Selectman Hillman, Mr. Boyle, Mark Boyle, the deputy manager, was here from MBTA. They did discuss, if you don't mind me saying,
No.
about the overall condition of we call it the platform, the station, about doing some other, that are MBTA's responsibility, some other safety improvements in terms of, anybody who's used the train, which you all have,
It's scary.
yeah, so they did take a real look at that as well. So-
And they're open to, I mean, it's been reiterated that once this is done, they are fully on board to push through a whole new platform.
Whole new platform.
Yeah, so,
Big bucks.
Yeah.
yep.
All right, so the action items.
For us.
Number 3, I'm respectfully requesting you have in your packet that the board appoint Mr. James Pernard of Ayer as one of Ayer's 2 Devon's Enterprise Commission representatives. It's a 3-year term, July 1st of 2014 to June 30th of 2017. This one has been vacant with the resignation of Mr. Russell Smith quite some time ago. Mr. Marty Putri is the town's other representative.
Go ahead, Janice.
I'd like to make a motion that Jimmy Pinard Jr. be appointed to the Devon's Enterprise Commission as the Ayer representative. The term being, what was the term again?
July 1st, 2014 to
July 1st, 2014
June
to
30th, 2017.
June
3 years.
30th, 2017.
Second.
All in favor? Gary?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Chair says aye, and thank you to Mr. Bernard, who is also serving on the Capital Committee, so it's good that he's getting involved. Appreciate it.
The next item is a request for the authorization by the board to enter into a 1-year energy contract with Constellation Energy. And in a nutshell, and you have the memo in your packet, the town's energy contract on the kilowatt hours expired almost 18 months ago, and we were in a variable rate, and we stayed in the variable rate because it was at a huge savings from that 3-year contract that the town had previously been in. Upon some research and advice done by Mr. Sherman and Ms. Cabri and with other energy providers, the current variable rate on the kilowatt hours, we're at 7 cents per kilowatt hour. The posted prices that will go into effect the beginning of January at the latest, because there's already volatility, will go to 24 cents per kilowatt hour.
That's,
And as the board can appreciate, and many of you, because we've dealt with this, you deal with this in your other businesses, it's a very volatile market, and everybody wants to offer you something, and I know that the town is very sensitive to getting into a multi-year agreement, because prior to when I came, we were in that 5-year agreement that didn't benefit the town. So what we're recommending is that the board authorize us to enter into just a 1-year energy contract effective tomorrow for 1 year. It will put us at 11 cents per kilowatt hour. So granted, the 7 cents at the variable was ideal, but we already know that conservatively, at the latest, probably be sooner from what we're seeing, but by January 1st, we're looking at 24 cents a kilowatt hour. So there is an increase from 7 to 11. However, this is to protect us. It's minimally going to be 24 come January. It could be more. We also, this gives it gives the town the flexibility. It's only a 1-year agreement. Okay, so it's designed to protect us for the winter, if you will. The Energy Committee, and I'll talk about this more moving forward, I need to put together a group to look at the issue of a longer-term contract of what's in our best interest. But at this point, we've really enjoyed, for lack of a better word, the variable rate. This came to my attention about 3 weeks ago in working with Ms. Cabri and Mr. Sherman, we are confident that this is in the best interest of the town. So I would be looking for authorization. The contract requires signature by the chair and myself. The contract, as you see in your packet, you have the letter from town council. The contract has been reviewed also by town council, specifically general counsel, and there's an energy attorney there to form and so forth.
This also should get the conversation going about the town as a whole becoming more energy efficient. With the Energy Committee, I know Mark has talked about the LED streetlights, LED lighting in the buildings, throughout all buildings.
Agreed.
Possible solar panels at various sites throughout town. And I think that we should have the Energy Committee in here to get on this, because that's a substantial, 7 to 24.
Residential is too.
What's that?
It's going up huge.
Oh, no, absolutely,
Right. Oh, yeah.
absolutely, but I'm
That's your
saying,
Attorney General that did that, so call your legislators.
The one that we did just,
To the chair's point, exactly, so we were at 7. This will put us at 11. It's a 4-cent increase. But if we...
13 cents less than what it could be.
Right. Because we know...
no, I agree, but I'm
Right.
saying,
absolutely.
now we've got a little bit of lead time, and Mark had his hand up, but I mean, I know we had talked about, Mark had mentioned maybe possible solar at some of these places.
sure.
We could go LED bulbs in all the buildings, which dramatically reduce cost. I know when you guys did the street lights, it was a dramatic savings, wasn't it? When we initially switched it up?
Our cost on just these streetlights out here, the utility cost went down by about 2/3.
Well, just for brighter lights and more lights. So, I mean, it really does, so, I mean, I think we really should get together and discuss this with the Energy Committee and the board and whoever else, and the various department heads too, because I'm sure there's savings everywhere.
Right.
The question I have is, and I would imagine that the town council brought this up, but, we have the solar net metering agreement, and that gives us net meter credits with National Grid. Does the Constellation contract go through National Grid, or are we paying?
Yeah.
So this will be offset by our net metering credits somewhat.
Correct. If I may, to the superintendent's point, excellent question, Mark. it was one of the last things that we confirmed is, yes, the solar array that we participate.
Yep.
In
Southbridge.
Southbridge, exactly. It does, it will offset this. Because that was our concern, we didn't want to get into this and lose those credits.
Yeah, and then net metering is probably, I was talking to, actually, she's up, well, it used to be on the energy committee, and now she works for Joe Kennedy's Citizen Energy. And she says she finds out more about net metering than anyone in the Commonwealth, and she's confused by it.
Yeah.
Because basically what it is we buy kilowatt hours, and then it just shows up as a dollar credit. So you can't say, well, we bought 1,000 kilowatt hours and we're getting 1,000 kilowatt credit. We're getting a dollar credit, and you're never really sure if it's apples and apples.
Sure.
So that's why we just need to really pay attention to that with respect to the cost here.
And Robert, is that something if you guys don't object, putting together maybe a meeting with us and the energy, as soon as possible? Because I think there's a lot of, I've done it in my own home with the LED bulbs, and it does make a dramatic difference. And I think the various stations, police stations, DPW, the schools should invest in on their exterior lights, and it's enough.
For green communities?
We did
We've done quite a bit.
Quite a bit, but you're still, LEDs aren't quite there, you still can do the CFLs, or not the CFLs, what are they called? They're CFLs, right?
Yeah, and we need to have a longer-term solution, but for the last almost 20 months, the variable rate was at a huge savings.
Oh, I agree.
And we monitored it, and then this sort of 3 weeks ago.
Sure.
So this is our protection.
LED streetlights, which is rolling, and then obviously new windows without wood to get installed and save some energy.
That's another
It
thing we
has
can look at, the
some
streetlights.
Yeah, streetlights, yes, absolutely. I know Shirley's, I think, 100% complete now with their LED streetlights.
Yes.
We gotta buy the streetlights first.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we can set that up before the end of the year. Go ahead, Gary.
Make a motion to approve contract of 1 year Constellation Energy as outlined in the memo by Robert Bongrand, Town Administrator, October 31st, 2014, to start tomorrow,
It's effective tomorrow, November
the
6th.
6th, through November of 2015, with signature by the chair and the Town Administrator.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Chris, this-
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Chair says aye.
She got me in trouble again.
The next item to the board is a memo I have. I'm requesting the authorization from the Board of Selectmen, or I'm requesting that the Board of Selectmen authorize the bonding of the position of the benefits and payroll manager. As part of the official job description of the benefits and payroll manager, as approved by the Personnel Board and the Board of Selectmen, the position shall serve as the backup to the treasurer in the event of the treasurer's absence. Specifically, and most importantly, the duty is to only serve as the backup for the acceptance of monies from town departments via departmental turnovers in the absence of the treasurer. And I trust that Mr. Johnson and Ms. Gittner will work this out as we move forward with this. All departmental turnovers and transfers go through the treasurer. This would, in the case that the treasurer, just like any of us, myself or so forth, if somebody's sick or somebody, just the turnovers, they would work this out. He would take them because, as I think everybody can agree, that the issue of if turnovers are coming forward and somebody's out, we need to keep them going in a secure manner. Therefore, to protect the town and Mr. Johnson, I'm just recommending, and the board has done this with the assistant tax collector and the assistant town clerk, that you authorize the bond of the benefits and payroll manager through the Western Surety Company, which issues all of the town's bonds. The cost will be $100 per year for the bonding of the position, which will come out of the BOS budget now and then in the proposed budget for the department for FY16.
Gary, I'm sorry.
Make a motion to approve the bonding of the position of benefits and payroll manager through Western Charity Company with a cost of $100 for the year.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye.
The next two items, we have a request for the change in Sunday hours for the Ayer package store alcohol license, and as was amended on the agenda for the Barnum Road liquor license change. And the board did this for another establishment at the last meeting. And this would, and this would be a change to a 10
They're all
o'clock.
becoming, I would think.
So there, we
They all
have
changed,
It's all
yeah.
because of the law that got changed. right?
Correct.
And we
Yeah.
have 6 eligible, vendors that could do it, so this would be like 5 out of 6.
Yeah,
right?
the 6 will be in at some point.
Last one hasn't
Okay.
passed yet. So you have to sign both of these.
And the other ones, are the other ones already up and running? I mean, does it have to go to the ABC, or is it?
The ABCC, we just have to send them the updated sign 43, but
Mhm.
basically, once the law went into effect on October 23rd, or whatever that Sunday was, they could start.
Okay.
But they have to notify us
Chief?
technically.
No issues at all with that?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Make a motion to approve a change in the Form 43 for 006-000022 retail, for Ayer package store for a change to 10 a.m. on Sunday. Open.
Seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye.
And
Okay.
again, change in the Form 43, 006-000013 for Barnum Road Liquors Incorporated. Again, the Sunday change, opening time at 10 a.m.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye.
Yeah.
Yes, so sign here, and then the blue form underneath.
And Mr. Chair, the last item I have, the board has a memo, is a recommendation for the creation of an Ayer Open Space and Recreation Plan Committee. And I'm recommending that the board authorize the creation of an Open Space and Recreation Plan Committee for the purposes of reviewing and updating the Town of Ayer's Open Space and Recreation Plan. The committee would consist of 7 members as follows: 1 representative from the Parks Commission, 1 representative from the Conservation Commission, and 5 citizen representatives for a total of 7 members. Upon authorization by the BOS to create the committee, the town will advertise the 5 citizen appointments, and I'll bring forth candidates for approval by the board at the December 2nd meeting. And I'm pleased to report there's already some interest in this, and Ms. Beth Sudemeyer from the CPC has taken a lead on this as well. It's time to really review and update. We've talked about the overall comprehensive plan, but this is a key component of it, and there's some potential grant funding for the planning process and so forth. So we want to get that started. So I'm again respectfully looking for you to create the committee and authorize the advertising for it.
I make a motion that the Board of Selectmen authorize the creation of an Open Space and Recreation Plan Committee as outlined in the Town Administrator's memo dated, what date was it?
Today.
5 November.
Second.
Robert, would this committee fall under the purview of the board, I mean, per recommendations, or?
Yes, and
Okay.
ultimately, the Parks Commission will have a rep in the Conservation, which the Conservation is actually under the Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
They'll do this, the time frame is by the spring to come forward with
Okay.
recommendations.
Yearly? Excuse me.
Yeah, this will be a process.
Yeah.
Once it's completed, it should be another 5 years or so.
You seconded, Jennifer? Oh,
Yes.
Gary, you seconded, right? Yeah.
Well, we will, so.
FDR. Yeah, forever. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye, so that's a good move. And Robert, that was it, right?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board.
Okay, just quickly, do you guys want to do minutes first, or we just do the traffic thing?
I can do minutes. I had looked at the minutes before, and I know she emailed them to us, and yesterday when I happened to pop by, there was one little minor change. I think I have the copy, I can tell you.
Those are the ones you sent today?
No, for the minutes, I'm
okay.
sorry, the minutes for the October 7th. So there was one itsy bitsy little thing that I saw, and that was on
I wasn't here.
it was like page 2, under the review and approval of the special fall town meeting warrant. There were 2 motions, one to place the Article 1 CPAC on the warrant, and the other one, the way it was worded, was to place support Article 1, and it confused me, so I kind of was like, did we do 2 motions and everything? So scratch out the word place in the second motion, and it would just say to support Article 1. Other than that, I had no problems with the minutes, and I recommend approval as amended.
As amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did we
Chair says
fix
aye.
that yesterday? Or no?
You did, but
Okay.
I don't think another email had gone out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so that's why, yeah. Well, it was a little busy around here yesterday.
You think? Yeah,
Then there was another set?
that was it for.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Just quickly, and Mark and Chief, I get your input on this, and Janice had brought this up a while ago, and taking this corner, I completely agree. And I mentioned it to you, Mark, a while back, that's maybe something we could think about, is possibly a little strip island in the middle of, why am I drawing a blank? Central Ave.
I don't remember talking about a strip island.
No, you had mentioned cutting the corner, and then the strip island just popped into the head last
Oh,
week.
yeah, but yeah, the signs helped.
Yeah, but what I find is too, is coming off of Newton, it's virtually impossible if your brain.
I do it every morning.
You slice.
I do it every morning.
You do cut across traffic.
Because the building kind of sticks out from.
It does.
From the stop
Yeah,
line.
so when you
know?
come across, you automatically, and it's way too wide, the end of that road.
Yeah.
My thought was, could we try, at least temporarily, my thought was a thin island, maybe a foot, maybe 20 feet long, 15 feet long, or whatever, recommendations. Maybe put some barrels out there and see if it helps keep people.
Would it?
What's that?
I'm trying to visualize where you.
It would be in the middle,
talking
it would be in the middle. So if you have Central Ave, Newton Street, you would put, so just separate it, couldn't go through.
You'd have to go around.
You'd have to go around.
Oh, I see, okay,
Yeah.
so you'd like have a barrel right here.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm
Kind of
just-
something here to say, keep going straight
Yeah,
before you turn.
And then I actually thought about possible out here with all the turnarounds. And my thought with the barrels is something we could try for a couple weeks, even if we did it in the summer, try it out, put them out.
Yeah, my concern is, and Gary may have a better idea because he sits on that corner more than I do.
Mark, can you just come up real quick? I'm sorry.
That's the only thing I thought of.
And Chief,
And I don't know what your truck deliveries are at the post office, but coming up Columbia and making that turn with an island would be pretty tough for a lot of big vehicles,
Yeah, you'd
including
have to track
our
it.
public
You'd have to
safety,
put
fire
parking lot.
trucks. So you may, what may be a solution is instead of having a raised island, you have a flush island that delineates, it's a different material, it might be a paver of some type of
Cobblestone.
concrete.
Yeah,
cobblestone.
just kind
Kind
of
of catches the eye, but doesn't really, but trucks can go over it, fire trucks can go over it.
Yeah, something that you're gonna know you're on, but
And, yeah, it just
Chief?
kind of draws the eye to that.
And with that idea, you could just paint that as a temporary, to see that it's gonna work.
Well, that was-
I've seen
Yeah.
it painted in road,
yeah.
so.
That's what my thought was, the barrel was, instead of doing something permanent, we could put it out there for a couple weeks, kind of get an idea of the feel and how many times they get knocked over. and-
Barrels will get hammered
Yeah.
Yeah.
the first day.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I mean, it does, but, and then I was thinking out here too, possibly to slow that as we all know, the U-turn out here, which is amazing, that there isn't more incidents out there with that.
I completely agree with you, but I started thinking about it, and I'm saying, there's so much, it may eliminate the traffic coming up
Well,
over here and over there. It
But I
may.
think, I saw last week, a tractor trailer made a wrong turn, and he backed into the post
Oh, yeah,
office
happens all the time.
and turned back around.
Yeah,
And,
Everybody
just-
knows you
it's-
turn in the post office parking lot.
everybody does.
well, I mean, like I said, it was one of those random things where it just kind of popped in, and I thought maybe we could look into it maybe
I
in the
think there's
spring.
some things we can do that wouldn't hinder vehicles that couldn't make the turn,
Sure.
but would be more visual.
And would also help with the plowing too, obviously, if you get something lower. So maybe we can look into, obviously, it's late in the season now, but maybe some,
Should ask Pedrazi too, because of.
Sure,
trucks.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mentioned
no,
it, I mentioned
absolutely.
it to the chief, and said, you know, would there be an issue with the fire trucks? And he said, definitely if he had a raised island, he'd.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So,
So I just thought of this, so like Newton Street, because the way the building is, the little church there and everything, it kind of protrudes over, so you're kind of driving, but I've forgotten where exactly the stop line is. Nobody ever cares where the stop line is, but anyways, there's supposed to be one. Maybe a mirror or something on the other side of the road to kind of let,
for Newton Street?
yeah,
to
so
see?
that, they could see like even somebody was gonna
Yeah.
about to come down
I-
Columbia.
sorry.
It just popped in.
Yeah,
my head.
I'd have to watch the traffic
Yeah.
there and see what the
It's-
problem is.
It's usually not a problem, Janice,
Yeah.
because when you pull out on Newton, you have the cars parked next to the
Right.
town hall.
Yeah.
So you have that little bit of room more so to move out.
Yeah.
And the cars coming down Columbia, realize that.
It's the
Yeah.
it's the quick turn on the Columbia where you tend to go
Yeah.
through that lane. It's just,
Yeah.
it's hard not to.
So-
Oh, it's, as Massachusetts drivers, we have bad habits. We don't
We do.
stop at stop signs and we cut corners, and so a lot of it is just giving cues to people that
Exactly.
this is where you're supposed to be.
And I just spoke to some people on Sandy Pond Road that said that the truck route is working. They have
And-
noticed, I don't know if you guys have noticed the chief, but there's definitely helped. The through truck signs at the end of Sandy Pond have definitely helped push traffic, out to the main road.
We had a fair, and the chief probably knows more about it than I do. We had a fairly major accident at Central Ave and Groton Harvard Road last week, and
That's
apparently we
another-
have a fair number there. And even though you have a stop sign, I was saying this to Chief Pedrazi, I still don't feel comfortable driving through that. I always think, even though you look and there's no cars coming, you think, gee, someone's gonna hit.
No, I did it
And I think
today, yeah.
it's a weird geometry
It
because
is.
it doesn't line up, and it's kind of the curbs aren't
I
really
agree.
well defined. It's kind of a big area, so that may be an area where we can look at doing some.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Some better alignment or visuals or curbing or something.
And it's funny you said that, because a lot of the comments about when the stop sign first went up was, yeah, it's great, but what about Groton Harbor Road, in the intersection there, that needs to be addressed too, so. And Chief, I think you had some concerns about that a while back too, the Groton Harbor Road.
And I
Just-
still do, we're still
Yeah.
looking at that, we're looking at maybe making it a four-way stop instead, and we have problems with trains and a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because you get the train blockage too, which,
We're working on that together.
okay, great. All right, no, just some ideas maybe for the spring that we could look into to help continue the,
We'll turn it into a dirt road. That'll slow everybody down.
yeah, it works in Wagon.
Pervious surface.
All right, anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.